Professional athletes belong to a certain group of people that includes other celebrities and high-level business executives. They simply live much differently than the general population. The pressures placed on them are much more than the average person could tolerate, and in return, they're rewarded with more money than you and I can imagine. What would a person under enormous pressure with a crapload of disposable income do? Well, you're about to find out what some of the richest of the professional athletes, NBA players, do with their money as we see 10 stupidly expensive things that NBA players don't really like to talk about. Number 10. Rodman's records. Dennis Rodman is known for a lot of things. He's not shy when it comes to talking about his explosive relationships, wild nights of partying, even the piercings of his nether regions.
Did you really get your scrotum pierced? What was the...
But an impressive aspect of Dennis's life, and also a contributing factor to his financial ruin, was his addiction to buying heavy metal records. At one point, he was reported to have been spending over $1 million a month on vinyl, that eventually filled well over half of his house. Number 9. Eddie Curry. Eddie Curry is notoriously bad with money. Luckily for Eddie, he was also one of the highest paid players in his prime. But it seemed like he was trying to invent ways to throw away the money. For example, the story goes that he once took out a $570,000 loan at 85% interest. How in the world do you even find someone offering that loan? 85%? There are plenty more Eddie Curry bad financial choices, but one of the most impressive was his $1,000 plus monthly cable bill. Granted, this was back before Netflix, but what in the heck was he watching that was so expensive? Wasn't he on the road a good chunk of the time anyway? Why was he doing that? We'll never know. Number 8. LeBron James' Rolex collection. Nicknamed King James, LeBron definitely lives like a king when it comes to telling time. He's not exclusive about brands. If it's a sweet timepiece, LeBron will wear it. But his collection of Rolexes alone is jaw-dropping. His entourage includes an 8-carat yellow gold Yachtmaster 2, the Rolex President Day Date 2, one in yellow gold and one in over rose gold, and the Sky Dweller, just to name a few, with each of these watches carrying a price tag of tens of thousands of dollars each. You can only guess how much cash LeBron has spent on his collection. Number 7. MJ's gambling debts. The Last Dance documentary brought out in the open what had recently been somewhat hush-hush in the basketball world. It bubbles up from time to time in the public eye, but Michael Jordan's addiction to gambling ran far deeper than most could have imagined. One of Jordan's frequent golf partners released a book detailing the duo's wild gambling on the fairways, claiming that Michael owed him over $1 million. Richard Esquinez later revealed that the two had settled on a mere $300,000. This is just the most public example of MJ's obsession with competition. He'd play cards, golf, pool, one-on-one, anything that matched him up against other people. And his go-to way of upping the stakes and pumping the adrenaline was to bet massive sums of money. Number 6. Spreewells Yacht. Latrell Sprewell played in the NBA from 1992 until 2005. Throughout the course of his career, Sprewell made over $100 million. He turned down an offer for an additional $20 million at the end of his career because, in his own words, he had a family to feed. Well, apparently that family included a yacht, and by feed, he meant make the $10,000 a month mortgage payments. And it turns out that without that $20 million contract Latrell decided not to sign, he wasn't able to keep up the payments, and the yacht was seized by a federal marshal in 2007. Records show that the $1.5 million boat was purchased in 2003, and that Sprewell still owed $1.3 million. Looks like the bank's accusation that Latrell was skipping payments must have been true. Number 5. James Harden's jewelry. James Harden's philosophy on jewelry is that it must be real. None of that fake shiny stuff, and he must be able to afford it in order to wear it. Even still, his gold collection is crazy. Several watches, though probably not as many as LeBron, chains, bracelets, everything gold with diamond inlays, only the finest high-end stuff for Mr. Harden. Number 4. Shaqs Tank. Shaquille O'Neal was commonly referred to as the Big Diesel, mostly because he's the size of a big rig and played the game like a Mack truck. Through his dominance in the court, followed by wise decisions off the court, Shaq amassed a serious fortune. So he bought the house and the car and all that. One out of the ordinary purchase Shaq made with his estimated $400 million net worth is a $50,000 fish tank built right into the frame of a big rig. This is not your college roommate's fish tank. Shaq's tank contains many exotic species including miniature groupers, clown triggers, mappa puffers, and dragon eels. Just the dragon eels alone cost upwards of $800 each and grow to around 3 feet long. Luckily for Shaq, professionals selected the species going into the tank because dragon eels, when paired with the wrong species of fish, will simply hunt down and eat everything else in the water. Number 3. Deshaun Stevenson's Money Machine. Deshaun Stevenson played a 13-year career in the NBA during which he landed in 6 different cities. Toward the end of his time in the league, he won a title with the Mavericks. After having proved himself a winner, Stevenson signed a sizable contract with the Nets and promptly installed an ATM machine in his kitchen. TMZ reported that the machine cost $3,500 to install and skimmed off $4.50 per transaction. The real expense, however, is the multiple $20,000 cash refills per year. That's a money pit that keeps on giving. Number 2. Batcave. It's not clear if this one actually happened or not, but former Indiana Pacer Danny Granger seriously pursued building his own Batcave. The design included a secret entrance camouflaged into the landscape, a tunnel that lit up when the car drove through, a turntable for the Batmobile so that you never have to back out, which also lifts the car up into a glass case, which would sit near Granger's gaming area in the house. Danny was a good player, but I don't know that he made the kind of money to pay the bills on this one. Furthermore, I would suspect that he'd be showing it off a little more readily if it were real. So chalk this one up to very cool ideas that never came to fruition. Number 1. A huge bed. The only thing that could possibly be more ridiculous than a Batcave under your house is Al Jefferson's $23,000 bed. It's a 10 feet wide and 12 feet long. That's getting dangerously close to the size of the NBA free throw lane. I'd like to know what on earth he needs all that space for. On second thought, no, I don't. Well, that's all for today's terrific Tens fans. You know what they say, mo money, mo problems. Or in the case of these NBA players, mo money, mo stupid you have to pay for.